Hi guys, how are you doing today? Welcome back to Random Lifestyle Vlog. If you're new here, my name is Paulina. This channel is mostly about beauty, and today we're going to test some P.LOUISE makeup. So this is going to be the makeup that I received in their advent calendar for 2024. If you haven't seen this unboxing or you would like to maybe refresh your memory, I'm going to link it here, but that's what we're going to use today. I'm going to do my makeup using products from this advent calendar exclusively. I obviously have my foundation and concealer on already, but for the remaining part I should be able to find anything I want in this stash here. So I think I'm going to start with my eyes and then kind of like match everything else to my eye makeup. I'm obviously going to use P.LOUISE brushes. They did have this whole set included in their calendar, so these are all the brushes from their kit. So we have some face brushes, some eyeshadow brushes. We should be fine with that. And I'm going to start my eye makeup with some eyeshadows. I'm going to use this palette here. This is P.LOUISE Express I Still Believe palette for eye and face, and it opens up like a little book, and then like different pages are for different color stories. That's actually really cute. We also have this mirror here, so that's going to be quite handy. And it's like really cold in the UK right now, so I feel like I want to do something quite frosty. So I think I'm going to focus maybe on these shades, like maybe like the top part of it. I might use some of these from this first page here. We'll see. So without further ado, let's start. So this is the brush I'm going to start with. This is E64, and I'm going to use this shade over here. This is Train of Thought on my entire eyelid. So as you can see, this shade doesn't have like a lot of pigmentation, but it's definitely enough to brighten my eyelids and to kind of like even everything out. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. It's giving me this kind of like a frosty vibe, so pretty much what I wanted. Next up, I'm going to move to the last page of our book. I'm going to use this shade here. This is Starry Station, and I'm just going to add some of that to my crease. Okay, so to be honest, this shade is barely visible on top of the other one, so probably not the best shade to build up that crease, but I'm just going to repeat this on my other eye, and then I'm going to pick up a little bit darker shade to work on this crease a little bit more. So where should we go now? I think we're going to try this one here. This is Dreams to Reality. I'm going to take a little bit smaller brush this time. This one is E61. I'm going to build this outer corner and my crease with it. So yeah, this one is definitely much more pigmented, and it works better with what we already have. So yeah, as you can see, it is quite visible, although these shades seem to be quite like washed out. I don't really see this like crazy pigmentation here yet, but on the other hand, we're kind of like halfway through the palette, so we have so many more like darker shades here. So I guess we should be able to build it up to the level we want. So let me just quickly repeat the same thing on my other eye, and we're just going to use some deeper shades. So a little bit smaller, more precise brush now. This is E63, and I'm going to use this shade here. This is Whistleblower, and I'm going to build this outer corner a little bit more. Alright, so one thing I can tell like straight away, it's very easy to build the color with these shades. You have like different levels of saturation here, different levels of intensity, so it's very, very easy to build like a very cohesive look without, you know, thinking too much. Now I'm going to use this bigger brush again, and I'm going to use a little bit of this shade over here. This is Next Stop, and I'm only going to use a little bit to blend the edges here. Now this kind of like more precise brush, E60, and I'm going to use, not sure what, I'm kind of like torn between this one over here, which is Buckle Up, and the Sleigh Bells Ring, which is this one here. Let me just quickly swatch them. So this is Buckle Up, and this is Sleigh Bells Ring. I think I'm going to go with this one. This one is a little bit more cool toned, and I wanted to have this frosty look, so this is Sleigh Bells Ring. And as I said, I'm going to use this more precise brush, and I'm going to work a little bit on this outer corner. So I'm applying just a little bit of this shade here, and I'm also going to apply it along my lower lash line. Now back to this shade here, Dreams to Reality, and I'm going to use this shade to smudge the lower lash line a little bit more. Now time to add some sparkle, and to be honest, I'm a little torn because there are so many shades I would like to try. I'm thinking of this Passenger Princess here, or this one here. This one actually looks really cool, Keep on Track, or maybe even this Final Call here. Okay, swatches seem to be quite helpful when you can't decide, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm quite surprised. It's not what I expected, but at the same time it kind of makes sense. So look at these swatches. They are very kind of topper-like, very frosty, but you don't have a lot of pigmentation here, which again, I think kind of makes sense. I guess if we were to swatch a little bit darker shades, they'll be more pigmented. Let's try this out. Here we have a couple of darker swatches, and as you can see, there's a lot more pigmentation in here. But these kind of like lighter shades are giving this frosty vibe. It's like kind of like an ice layer on your lids. But it actually looks pretty cool. I think I'm going to use this shade here. This is Keep on Track. So this is this one over here. I'm just going to use my finger and apply this shade over my eyelid. Okay, that's actually quite pretty. I'm going to use a little bit of this shade as well. This was Passenger Princess because it looks the most kind of like frosty of them all, and I'm going to add a little bit of that too, especially here in my inner corner. Okay, I have to admit I'm actually pretty happy with the results. So I'm just going to do the same thing on my left eye. Okay, so far so good. I think this palette is actually pretty good, especially for those kind of like a frosty eye looks. Those shimmers are very ice-like. I like that. So that's done. Time for an eyeliner. So we have a separate palette for that too. This is Off the Record Water Activated Liner palette. That looks pretty cool. Let me show you. So there you go. Look how much choice we actually have here. And then we have this massive mirror here too. And I honestly don't even know where to go with it. There's so much choice that I can't really decide. Maybe this kind of like aubergine shade here. This one should be quite visible. And if I were to swatch it like that, pretty much nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a very precise kind of like a liner brush, and this unfortunately was not included in the set here, so I'm just going to use a different brush, like a different brand brush. And I was about to use this setting spray from P.LOUISE Advent Calendar to activate it, but now I can see that there's some oil inside, I think. So that's probably not going to be the best option. I'm just going to grab some regular water for that. So let's try it out. Okay, a quick swatch. Look at that. Once you add a little bit of water, they immediately become intensely pigmented, like your regular eyeliners. So I'm just going to do a little line here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. I'm going to drag this line along my waterline here too. As you can see, it's really nicely pigmented. So yeah, that is actually pretty cool. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with this palette. Okay, so that's done. And by the way, look at this. This is the swatch of this eyeliner, and look at this. Like once it dries out, it's just not moving anywhere. That's actually pretty cool. So our next step, brows. I'm going to use one of their brow pencils. I think they were like 5 in the Advent Calendar, like all different shades. I'm a little bit torn between espresso and mochaccino. I'm not too sure which color is going to be more suitable for me. My brows are naturally pretty dark, so maybe espresso, but then again, I'm afraid I might be a little bit too dark. So let's go with mochaccino. So this is the shade I will try and use. So this is what it looks like. So this is a shade. As you can see, it is quite precise. So let's try it out. Okay, so I think this is actually the perfect shade for my brows. It applies really nicely. It's very precise. So yeah, pretty good. Okay, and the last step in my eye makeup is a mascara. And this is actually the first time ever I'm testing P.LOUISE mascara. So pretty exciting. I also really love the packaging. This is Frozen Fix mascara, and this is what it looks like. So let's try it out. Okay, so I applied it on my right eye only. Can you see the difference? I can see the difference. I think this actually does the job. It lifted my lashes nicely. It seems to be lengthening. It separates lashes really nicely. It doesn't seem to add much volume though. So final verdict for me, this is going to be my perfect daytime mascara. If I wanted to go with this more dramatic makeup, I will probably choose a different mascara for a little bit more volume, but this is going to be a really nice one for kind of like everyday use. And that is it. I mean, as far as eyes go, right? Because we still have the rest of my face to finish. Okay, so next up I have this cream bronzer palette that we're going to work with now. This is what it looks like. We have 8 different shades of bronzer. It actually smells so good. It smells like cookies. It literally makes me hungry. So yeah, we have these 8 shades here. Obviously some of these shades are going to be too light for me, some of them are going to be too dark. P.LOUISE is designed mostly for like makeup artists, so that makes sense that we have all these shades, but at the same time it is pretty inclusive because most people will be able to find this perfect bronzer shade here. So I think I'm going to go with this one here. It seems a little bit more cool toned compared to like other shades. I think that's going to be the right choice. I'm obviously going to give it a quick swatch before we move on. That's pretty pigmented, but I'm pretty sure it's going to blend nicely, or at least I hope so. Yeah, that should be all right. I'm going to try and use this brush. This is number F75. It does seem pretty dense. I hope it's going to pick up this creamy product here, so let's give it a go. Okay, it's actually probably a little bit more pigmented than I expected. I mean, I'm not sure why I'm even surprised. I did swatch it. It does blend really easily though, so even if you go a little bit too heavy-handed at first, you can easily fix it. Since I'm going for this like frosty makeup, I wanted to have this bronzer that's going to be more cool toned, or like not as warm as some other shades here. I think this one's going to work perfectly for that. A little bit of my jawline. I'm just going to use this bronzer to contour a little bit too. Okay, so this is the bronzer on one side of my face. I think this one is pretty good. The only issue I have with this product is that it smells like cookies and it literally makes me hungry. So if you're on a diet, probably not the best product to have. Oh, and by the way, the name of the shade I'm using, because I don't think I mentioned it, it's Tiramisu Tease. Okay, so that's done. Time for a blush, I guess. And we have 3 shades to choose from. This one is a bit too corally for what I'm doing today, so I think one of these. This one is more pink, this one is more kind of like red, but I think this kind of like blushed color could actually go nice maybe with what I'm trying to do. But I think ultimately I'm going to go with this pink one. So this is the cheek of it, loose powder blush. The shade is Flirty Floss. And if my memory serves, I think I made a fool of myself while unboxing the advent calendar with these blushes, because I couldn't really work out how to get them out of this. And it's pretty simple. They have the seal here, so yeah. Anyway, I figured it out in the end. That's what matters, I guess. To be honest, I don't think this shade is going to be that visible on my skin. I mean, look at this. And as you can see, this time it's working. The product is actually coming through the sponge. So let's try the red one here. This is Red Velvet. I'm going to see if that one actually shows a little bit more on my skin. Okay, this one shows much better on my skin. I mean, look at that. But I'm not too sure if this is going to go with the colors I picked up. So I'm a little bit torn. This is going to give like a really beautiful kind of like a frosty cheeks vibe, but as I said, not sure if that's going to go with the shades I already have. So I'm just going to go with this blush. I'm not sure if that's going to add much color to my face, but let's give it a go. So the sponge is pretty soft. I'm going to apply it directly on my cheeks then. And to be honest, I can see it just a little bit, but I wish it was a little bit more pigmented, like for my skin tone. I think if you have lighter skin tone than mine, this is going to look really nice. Not on me though, like barely visible. Okay, that's done. Time for highlighter. Initially, I thought I would use this one here. This is a creamy highlighter, Dare to Dream. But this one does look a little bit too warm toned for like my current makeup, so I'm going to use this palette. And again, I think I owe you an explanation, because this is another situation when I made a little bit of a fool of myself. Let me show you. This is what it looks like. And while unboxing P.LOUISE Advent Calendar, I did not realize that this thing over here opens up and we have more shades here. So look at that. So this one's actually pretty cool. We have some pressed powder shades, we have some creamy shades, and it seems to me like you can use these however you want. These could be used as blushes, these could be used as bronzers or like contour shades, but you can also use them on your eyelids. We have some potential highlighter shades. So yeah, a lot to choose from. So I'm going to use one of these shades as my highlighter. I need to swatch them first to know which one to choose. So there you go. As you can see, they have 2 different formulas. This one is definitely much more pigmented. This one has more of this kind of like a sheer finish. And And these are the swatches. So since my blush is barely visible, I think I'm going to pick up this shade, the more sheer one. So this is the one I will be using. And I'm going to use this F72 brush. That is really pretty. This is like a beautiful frosty highlighter. I mean, I'm not going to lie, that looks pretty stunning. I'm obviously going to blend it out. I really hate when my highlighter is not properly blended, but again, I really love this kind of like a frosty, icy look it's giving me. So pretty. I'm going to use a little bit big brush to blend it. And yeah, I think it actually looks really pretty. Okay, I'm almost done. Time for the very last bit of my makeup today, and that's going to be my lips. So we did not really get any lipstick in this year's advent calendar, but we have some lip liners and we have a lip gloss. So that's what we're going to use. As far as the lip liners go, we have one that is red. I'm not going to use that. There's one that's very kind of light nude shade. Again, not something I want to use today. So I think it has to be one of these four. Let's swatch them. Okay, so these are the swatches. The first two over here, they are too warm, so I don't want to use these. So it's going to be one of these two. So I think out of these two, I'm going to go with the one that's a little bit more neutral, not as intense, and this is Slay Belle. So this is the winner of this little competition. So let's go. Okay, so this is what it looks like. As you can see, I drew the line like around my lips, but I also fill it in a little bit too. And now I'm going to use this lip gloss. This is Stay Shining lip gloss in Cinnamon Swirl. And that's that. I'm going to spray my face with the setting spray. This is Go the Distance setting spray. It does look like there's some oil in it, so I really hope this is going to be like a very fine mist and it's not going to destroy my makeup, because trust me, that happened to me before. So it's supposed to give you this long-lasting makeup, but some of these products, they're just not that good. So I'm just going to spray it. No, it does seem like a very fine mist. It should be alright. No, it's like a perfect setting spray. It's very gentle, it's very fine. It doesn't really feel like a splash of water on your face, like, you know, someone is spitting on you. No, that's like a really nice, fine mist. Love it. Okay, so this is my makeup done using P.LOUISE products from the 2024 advent calendar. What do you guys think? So that's everything from me today. Thank you very much for watching. For more makeup related content, check those videos over here. I'm going to see you very soon. Take care. Bye.